Hello everyone. So today we are going to start with circulatory system in human physiology. So in this we'll be dealing with each and every paragraph. So we'll finish this chapter in two parts. So today we are going to take this introduction part. In this we are going to emphasize on all the important words, all the important lines from where questions can be picked up either in your boards or in your NEET exam. Okay, so let's start. Yeah, I hope you all are doing good. Yeah, so let's start. So you have learned that all living cells have to be provided with nutrients, oxygen, and other essential substances, right? So nutrients, oxygen, and other essential substances. Also, waste or harmful substances produced have to be removed continuously for healthy functioning of the tissues. Okay, so what does this line mean? So we need to give a cell or a tissue. So basically first, what is tissue? So we have studied what is tissue. Tissue is a group of cells which can be of same or different kind, same or different kind of cells that performs this is important, specific function, right? So there's one very important tissue we'll study in this chapter is blood. Blood is a specialized connective tissue. Connective tissue, right? Yes. So this is what these two lines are saying. So now we'll see how this is a cell. There are some substances that we need to be given to the cells or group of cells or tissue, right? And there are some substances that should be taken out. So what are these substances? These are the good substances that is required for the growth of the cells or the tissue or for the healthy functioning of the tissue, right? So what are these substances? These substances are nutrients, oxygen, and essential substances, right? And what are the substances that should be removed? Are the waste. So what is basically the waste means? When these cells undergo metabolization, so from the metabolism of the cells, the toxic substances that are produced should be removed out of the cells. So this is what this is how the normal functioning of the cells is done. So it is therefore essential to have efficient mechanism for the movement of this substance to the cells and from the cells. What does this to and from means? Basically, to is this adding of nutrients, oxygen, and essential substances to the cells, and removal of these waste, harmful, toxic substances from the cells. Okay, now different group of animals have evolved different methods for this transport. simple organisms like sponges and coelantrates circulate water from their surrounding through their body cavities to facilitate the cells to exchange these substances. What does this line mean? So basically what happens, these sponges or these coelantrates, these organisms have body cavity. Okay, so what happens through this body cavity? So this is the body. Okay, excuse my diagrams. So this is how, and this is the body cavity. This part is the body cavity. The inside cylinder is the body cavity. Now what happens? Surrounding water enters and exit through this cavity, right? This is how water is coming. Okay, now what is happening? This water, surrounding waters have so many particles, so many substances, so many important stuff that is required by these organisms. Now what happens? This, along with water, these substances come, these organisms absorb and release the water from the body cavity. So this is very basic mechanism these organisms follow. So water is moving from here, water is going through the body cavity, moving through here, going to the body cavity. Meanwhile, when water is moving inside the body cavity, the important substances that is required by these organisms get absorbed and the water is released back, right? So this is how the simple organisms like sponges and coelantrates. So which organisms follow this? Simple organisms, right? Simple organisms like sponges and coelantrates, right? Okay, you remember these two words, sponges and coelantrates. Now complex organisms use special fluids within their bodies, right, within their bodies, to transport such materials. So there is one very important word, blood. Blood is the most commonly used body fluid by most of the higher organisms, including humans, for this purpose. Another body fluid, lymph, also helps in the transport of certain substances. So very in simple organisms like sponges and coelantrates, they use simple methods. Just like water enters into the body, leaves the body, meanwhile these organisms absorb the substances. While in complex organisms, what happens? There is a specific mechanism, there is specific fluid that is designated to supply the nutrients, oxygen and essential substances to all the parts of the bodies, tissues, organs, cells, right? So blood is the most commonly used and the other one is lymph. Now we'll see how this happens. So what we see, so basic, the in center what is there? Heart is there. This is, for example, heart, right? So we'll make it in red color, right? So this is heart. From the heart what comes? Arteries, right? So this arteries will come to the tissues. So this is the tissue part or organ part or cellular part, whatever it is. From the tissue part, all the oxygenated blood comes. The blood gives all the nutrients, oxygen and whatever is required. Later this tissue all the toxic substances, waste substances, and carbon dioxide is released, this blood becomes deoxygenated through veins. It goes to heart, right? This is the basic circulatory system we all know. Okay, this is arteries. Artery carry oxygenated blood, right? This carry oxygenated blood, and these veins carry deoxygenated blood. Deoxygenated blood, right? This is the basic circulatory system we know. Now this is blood, so this blood gives all oxygen, nutrients, and everything to the tissues. From tissues, all the toxin substances, all the waste from the tissue, all the parts that are not metabolized or produced during metabolization of the substances which are not useful for the cells, everything goes out from the tissues, taken up into the blood, and later excreted by other means. Now what is lymph? Okay, so lymph is basically lymph is basically clear colorless fluid that is present surrounding the tissues, taken up and runs into the lymphatic system of the body, later is drained into veins, right? So what is the path? So path is, so you have seen, no, the blood has come to the tissues. From the tissue part, lymph has gone to lymph capillaries, right? Lymph capillaries. From the lymph capillaries, it goes to lymphatic vessels. So it goes to lymph vessels. From lymph vessels, it goes to lymph nodes. From lymph nodes, it goes to lymphatic trunk. From lymphatic trunk to lymphatic duct. From this lymphatic duct, it goes to subclavian vein. So what is subclavian vein? It is a vein which is present in the upper part of the body, neck, thoracic region, right? So it goes to subclavian vein, and from this subclavian vein, it goes to circulation. So this is the path of the lymph, right? So now we have this diagram, how this actually happens. So this is the basic mechanism we have seen, this part. Now we have pictorial form. We'll see from heart, the oxygenated blood is carried through artery to the tissue. Can you see these cells? These are tissue cells. Okay, so as a group it forms tissue, this part, right? From this tissue, what happens? Through capillaries, these, can you see these small part? These are capillaries. So what happens? Fluid leaks from these capillaries, because this is the property of the capillaries. These are the leaky vessels. Fluid leaks from these capillaries, accumulated in the tissues. Whatever is required, tissue takes up. Whatever not required, all the waste products, toxins, tissue releases. From this, this tissue fluid is taken up into lymph capillaries. These are the very small lymph capillaries. From these lymph capillaries, lymph vessels, lymph nodes, lymphatic trunks, ducts, and last, see, trunk. Here later it will be ducts. Then later we'll go into vein. Which vein? predominantly subclavian vein. So this is the pictorial form. We have seen whatever we have written here. This is the pictorial form of this. So this is just to understand. Now we have talked about nutrients, oxygen, essential substances. So what are all these? These are, so what are basically nutrients are? Nutrients these are the macromolecules. Macromolecules. These macromolecules constitutes of carbohydrates. So the carbohydrate that our body uses is basic unit glucose. Amino acids, that is proteins. So unit amino acids. So fatty acids and lipids, right? Then there is thing called nucleotide, that is DNA and RNA. Then lot of minerals like ions. Which ions? Sodium, potassium, magnesium, chloride and bicarbonate, and many more, right? Vitamins. So these all are provided to the tissue part. Then what are the things that are removed? The waste, the toxins. So the waste is, what kind of waste we see? We see carbon dioxide, we see urea, we see excess of ions, because excess of ions can lead to toxicity, no? So excess of ions, we need to remove them from our body, and all the toxin from metabolism. So we have to remove all this to maintain a good pH, so that our body cells can work properly. Now we have seen this lymph part. So what are the uses of this lymph? Why we need lymph, right? So basically, what is this lymph? This is a extra fluid from the tissues. So whatever is extra, it gets from the tissues. Okay, so this is the extra tissue fluid, goes back to blood and maintains the volume of the blood. Plus, very important use of this lymph is it filters pathogens. What is pathogen, bachcho? This pathogen is disease causing organisms, right? For example, we see any virus, any bacteria in our body which can cause disease will be pathogen. So all this tissue, all the lymphocytes are present in this lymph. All the cells which fight against infection are present in this lymph. This lymph gets organisms, pathogens get accumulated in the lymph nodes, and there our body cells fight with them and kill them. So this is the use of this lymph. So it maintains the volume, plus it provides a field for our body cells, immunity cells, to fight against organism which causes infection. So this is what we have read in this paragraph. So what are the very important stuff? We'll summarize it in just 1 minute. So we need nutrients, oxygen and essential substances, we need our waste products, toxins, to be removed from the cells. There we have seen one simple mechanism in sponges and sealant rates. We have seen complex organism having a specific thing that is in humans. It is called blood and lymph. Blood is the most common used fluid in our body. So this one paragraph we have finished. Now in next video we'll talk about blood and components of this blood.